Though they might not always admit it, most young boys actually think it's pretty cool to have an older sister. However, imagine the scenario where this admired and trusted older sister commits a heinous crime and then swiftly shifts the blame onto the 13-year-old brother who idolized her. Today, we are diving into a gripping and thought-provoking tale about Tyler Edmonds, a young man who found himself living a nightmare at just 13 years old. Imagine being accused of a crime you didn't commit, and then confessing to it, only to spend 4 years in prison before being acquitted. That's exactly what happened to Tyler. But his story doesn't end there. He's since delved into the psychology behind false confessions, seeking answers to questions that tormented him for years. Stay tuned as we unpack this fascinating journey of self-discovery and redemption. The Evil Sister. Tyler Edmonds' upbringing in the Golden Triangle region of eastern Mississippi was marked by family struggles and a longing to connect with his estranged biological father. Born to a single mother, Tyler had always felt a void in his life, a void that he hoped his father could fill. It was during this time that he formed a bond with his half-sister, Christy Fulgham, who was more than a decade older. Fulgham, a mother of 3, took on a maternal role in Tyler's life, offering him guidance and support. However, things took a dark turn when Fulgham, who was going through her own turmoil in her marriage to Joey, made a fateful decision. On a seemingly ordinary night in May 2003, Fulgham took a gun and shot her husband, Joey Fulgham, in the head as he slept. This unexpected act of violence would set off a chain of events that would forever change Tyler's life. The incident. In the small town of Carthage, Mississippi, the air was thick with tension as the community grappled with the shocking death of Joey Fulgham. Prosecutors wasted no time in pointing fingers, alleging that Christy Fulgham, Joey's wife, was the mastermind behind the murder. Their motive? Money. It was speculated that Christy plotted to kill her husband in order to inherit his wealth, possibly intending to cash in on his life insurance policy and start a new life with another man. In a twist that stunned many, Christy initially confessed to being the one who pulled the trigger. However, her defense attorney swiftly intervened, painting a picture of Christy as a victim of abuse. They argued that she had endured years of torment at the hands of her husband, leading her to retract her admission of guilt. With the truth behind Joey's death shrouded in uncertainty, the stage was set for a legal battle unlike any other. Enter Tyler Edmonds, Christy's younger brother, whose life was about to take a harrowing turn. When investigators from the Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Office brought Tyler in for questioning, they employed a common tactic in murder cases, separating him from his mother and then bringing Christy in to speak to him privately. Alone in the interrogation room with Christy, Tyler found himself facing a daunting situation. Under the intense pressure and with his mother absent, Tyler, a mere 7th grader at the time, made a pivotal decision. He changed his story, confessing to his involvement in the shooting of Joey Fulgham, but it wasn't his idea to confess. Christy told him that if she was convicted, she would face the death penalty. She assured Tyler, however, because he was only 13, that nothing would happen to him. Her plea for help worked, and she convinced him to confess. The confession was captured on videotape, revealing a visibly overwhelmed Tyler fidgeting and speaking softly as he struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. For Tyler, the consequences of his confession would be profound. Suddenly, thrust into the spotlight of a high-profile murder case, he found himself grappling with the weight of his words and the uncertainty of his future. As the legal proceedings unfolded, Tyler's life would become entangled in a web of accusations, betrayals, and unanswered questions. Amidst the chaos and confusion, one thing remained clear. Tyler Edmonds was facing an uphill battle for justice. With the truth obscured by conflicting testimonies and murky motives, he would need to summon every ounce of courage and resilience to navigate the treacherous waters ahead. As the wheels of justice began to turn, Tyler's fate hung in the balance, his innocence or guilt hinging on the outcome of a trial that would determine the course of his life. The trial. The trial of Tyler Edmonds was a pivotal moment in his tumultuous journey through the criminal justice system. As the proceedings began, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation, each moment charged with tension and uncertainty. For Tyler, the stakes could not have been higher as he faced accusations of participating in the murder of his sister's husband, Joey Fulgham. The prosecution wasted no time in presenting their case, painting Tyler as an active participant in the deadly conspiracy orchestrated by his sister, Christy Fulgham. Witnesses took the stand, recounting the events leading up to Joey's death and implicating Tyler in the crime. Despite his youth and slight stature, Tyler found himself cast in the role of a hardened criminal, his every move scrutinized by the jury and spectators alike. As the trial progressed, Tyler's defense team worked tirelessly to dismantle the prosecution's narrative and establish his innocence. They called upon expert witnesses to testify to Tyler's character and reputation within the community, painting a picture of a young man who was caring, compassionate, and entirely incapable of committing such a heinous act. Throughout the trial, Tyler maintained his composure, his resolve unwavering in the face of mounting pressure and scrutiny. He listened intently as witnesses testified, his eyes fixed on the proceedings with a steely determination. Behind the courtroom doors, Tyler's family and supporters rallied around him, offering words of encouragement and unwavering belief in his innocence. As the trial drew to a close, both the prosecution and defense delivered impassioned closing arguments, each side vying to sway the jury in their favor. For Tyler, the moment of reckoning had arrived as the fate of his future hung in the balance. As the jury retired, the courtroom fell silent, the weight of their decision palpable in the air: the incarceration and jail time. With the jury's guilty verdict, Tyler found himself stripped of his freedom and thrust into a world defined by concrete walls and steel bars. As he was led away from the courtroom, the gravity of his situation sank in, the enormity of his sentence looming large over his young shoulders. In prison, Tyler faced a daily struggle to adapt to his new reality, navigating the complexities of life behind bars, while grappling with the injustice of his conviction. Surrounded by hardened criminals and faced with the harsh realities of prison life, he found himself confronted with challenges he had never imagined. Yet, amidst the chaos and despair, Tyler remained steadfast in his determination to prove his innocence and reclaim his freedom. As the months turned into years, Tyler's conviction weighed heavily on his mind, a constant reminder of the injustice that had robbed him of his freedom. Yet, even in the darkest moments, he refused to surrender to despair, clinging to the hope that one day justice would prevail and he would be exonerated. The story of Tyler Edmonds took a dramatic turn when new evidence came to light, shedding new light on his case and sparking a series of legal battles and appeals that would ultimately lead to his exoneration. It all began with a revelation that cast doubt on the prosecution's case. Christy Fulgham, Tyler's sister and the key witness against him, recanted her testimony. In a stunning twist, Christy admitted that she had lied under oath and that Tyler had no involvement in Joey Fulgham's murder. This bombshell revelation rocked the foundations of Tyler's conviction, calling into question the validity of the entire case against him. Armed with this newfound evidence, Tyler's legal team launched a series of appeals, seeking to overturn his conviction and secure his release from prison. Their efforts were met with resistance from the prosecution, who vehemently opposed any attempts to reopen the case. Yet, undeterred by the obstacles in their path, Tyler's attorneys pressed forward, determined to uncover the truth and secure justice for their client. As the legal battles raged on, Tyler's case garnered national attention, drawing the support of advocacy groups and legal experts alike. The spotlight on his case only intensified the pressure on the courts to re-examine the evidence and reconsider Tyler's conviction in light of the new revelations. Following the overturning of his initial conviction, Tyler Edmonds was granted a new trial to reconsider the charges against him. This second trial marked a critical juncture in his legal battle for exoneration. Throughout the proceedings, Edmonds' defense team presented compelling evidence challenging the validity of his confession, which had served as a linchpin in his original conviction. They meticulously dissected the circumstances surrounding his interrogation, highlighting potential coercion and inconsistencies that cast doubt on the reliability of his statement. Additionally, expert witnesses were called upon to provide insights into the psychological vulnerabilities of juvenile defendants like Edmonds, underscoring the potential for false confessions under intense pressure and manipulation. The courtroom drama unfolded as testimonies were heard, cross-examinations conducted, and evidence scrutinized. Emotions ran high as Edmonds and his supporters anxiously awaited the jury's deliberations, hoping for justice to prevail this time around. The prosecution vigorously defended their case, seeking to uphold the original verdict, while the defense relentlessly pursued the truth, advocating for Edmonds' innocence. Ultimately, after careful consideration of the evidence presented, the jury delivered their verdict, a unanimous decision to acquit Tyler Edmonds of all charges. The courtroom erupted in a mix of emotions, relief, elation, and vindication, as Edmonds was finally exonerated and set free. Following Tyler's release, Christy Fulgham, his half-sister, remained the focus of the legal proceedings for the murder of her husband, Joey Fulgham. Christy was tried separately for her role in the murder, and the case against her was built around the motive that she killed her husband to collect life insurance money. Christy Fulgham was convicted of capital murder in 2006 and was subsequently sentenced to death. Her conviction was based on evidence that pointed to her as the mastermind behind the murder, including financial motives and possibly manipulating Tyler into participating or confessing to involvement in the crime. The case against Christy was separate from Tyler's, and his exoneration did not directly impact her legal status, except possibly to remove the assertion that Tyler was her accomplice in the actual act of murder. Christy's conviction and death sentence underscored the court's determination that she was primarily responsible for her husband's death. After Tyler Edmonds was exonerated and released from prison, he faced the daunting task of rebuilding his life from the ruins of wrongful incarceration. The post-exoneration period marked a new chapter filled with challenges, opportunities, and a quest for normalcy. Tyler was greeted by a wave of media attention and public interest in his case. News outlets clamored to tell his story of injustice and redemption, shining a spotlight on the flaws in the legal system that had led to his wrongful conviction. Tyler seized the opportunity to share his experiences, becoming a vocal advocate for criminal justice reform and the rights of wrongly accused individuals. Transitioning back into society posed its own set of challenges for Tyler. Despite his exoneration, the stigma of being labeled a convicted felon lingered, casting a shadow over his prospects for employment, housing, and social acceptance. Nevertheless, Tyler remained undeterred, determined to prove himself and carve out a meaningful existence. Despite the challenges of reintegration following his release, including the public's recognition and the media's portrayal, Edmonds chose not to harbor bitterness. Instead, he pursued a career as an emergency medical technician before moving to Yuma, Arizona, for a job with the U.S. Department of Defense. Edmonds' case also sparked discussions about the treatment of juveniles in the legal system, with his being tried as an adult at such a young age, highlighting the broader implications of Mississippi's legal statutes. Despite his acquittal, Edmonds has had to navigate the complexities of life after exoneration, including public perception and the ongoing impact of media coverage. Today, Tyler Edmonds has found new beginnings. After battling leg cancer, he returned to Columbus, Mississippi, where he co-owns Simply Tobacco. His life now is a blend of work, family, and outdoor activities, though his relationship with Christy Fulgham remains estranged. Christy was initially sentenced to death for her role in Joey Fulgham's murder, but now serves a life sentence without parole, a resolution that Edmonds finds appropriate given the circumstances. In addition to rebuilding his own life, Tyler remained committed to seeking justice for others who had fallen victim to wrongful convictions. He lent his voice to advocacy efforts, speaking out against systemic injustices and advocating for reforms to prevent similar tragedies from befalling others. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more true crime stories. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more. Stay curious, stay connected, stay with Reely Unreal.